Okay, so I just started recording this session. Thank you everyone to join this session, this call. In earlier lecture, we already focused on Spark architecture. Do we have any question, any doubt, guys, regarding this Spark architecture? We had
No, sir.
discussed over the Hadoop architecture. Okay, so if we do not have any doubt regarding Hadoop, I'm going to revise one more time. What was the Hadoop? What was the MapReduce? So using the Hadoop, we had before Spark, we had Hadoop architecture. So Hadoop system was there, and then MapReduce concept was there along with the Hadoop. So using MapReduce technique, there were some limitations. What kind of limitations were there? These limitations were like reshuffling were there. I'll explain what is the reshuffling using the hands-on coding. So, but as of now, you just get understand the reshuffling was there, reducing procedure was there, then all other manual management was there involved with the map reduce. Then we had HDSF. What is the HDSF? It's a Hadoop distributed file system. So distributed means we had so many workers to perform our job. They did divided our job into multiple options, and then we had this file system at the bottom. So this file system is connected with the yarn. So what is the yarn here? Yet another resource. And this is the most basic questions computer data engineers are being asked in the interview. That what is the Hadoop? What is the why we switch from Hadoop to Spark? And before Spark, which concept was existing in the for the developers? So MapReduce was there in the domain of data engineering. So
Yeah,
Spark is built on Hadoop ecosystem, in fact. So this was developed on ecosystem, and there was the mapping techniques and reducing for the data set technique was there. Any doubt on this?
no, Sachin.
Okay. So as far as this Spark architecture is concerned, this Spark is actually having this Spark had code. We had all the coding here inside this Spark. This one. Here we had we had Spark libraries. All the libraries are there. These libraries are very helpful for us. So this is the input streaming. For example, we want to perform any Facebook, Facebook operation or any Reddit operation. The Reddit operation might be there you are processing, or any website which is live for us. So this one is involving with the live website, and MapReduce was not friendly with the ML code and complex code. So we are not going to deal with the ML code and complex code. So MapReduce was not friendly with ML code. For example, you want to go for machine learning code, so MapReduce was failed in that scenario. So for example, we want to implement some complex algo. We will see few example in today's session. So this is not good choice. Now, what is the graphical, sparse graphical? For example, it's going to simply creates nodes and vertex. For example, we had source and destination. So in that scenario, it's going to work this source and destination code. So this is going to involve that part. All right. In order to communicate with the workers, with the managers, we had Java, Scala, Python, R. For R practice, for we will be using Python. So along with so using Spark, using the Python is actually concept called PySpark.
Okay.
We had other options like Java, Scala. Scala was originally used for running this Spark workers and nodes. And R is basically used in European countries, not in India or USA or Canada. But Python is most widely used in all over the world. Any question?
Yeah. No, Sachin.
Okay. So then we had Spark context. This is having the code we are involving. This driver node is here and responsible for managing all code, all data and code. So this is going to involve everything. And whatever the distributed the processing and all computation. This manager is responsible for all distributed processes as well. So this is going to involve that part. The primary purpose of the Spark architecture is distributed data system. So if anyone asks, like, what is the primary object of the Spark? So primary object of Spark is to deal with distributed data processing. This was the responsibility of Spark. So Spark is just like a basic program which is written in Scala, and often the community saw the popularity of this Spark potential, and then they introduced different languages. What are the different languages? These languages are Python, then R, and then Java. Any doubt on this?
No, Sachin.
So these workers are nodes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So okay. Anyone try to open that this one community
Databricks.
edition of this
Databricks.
Databricks? Anyone tried?
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
Have you log in?
Yeah, I
Yes,
logged in.
Sachin.
Okay. What about Siva? You have logged in your community login edition?
Yeah. Yeah, I logged in.
Oh, that's great. And Manish?
Yes, I logged in.
Okay, you can write the code. Shreyas, you can write the code.
Sorry, no, I haven't done login or any here as of now.
Okay. So in this lecture, I'll help you to learn how to write more complex code in the Python. Because if
Mhm,
you have not um, get inside the Databricks, then I'll help you out by sharing your screen.
mhm.
Okay. So try by yourself. If not succeeded, then I'll tell you tomorrow.
Okay, sure. I will create the account and we'll start working on that.
Sure. So first and foremost, I'm going to create cluster by pressing Control. If you can see, this is
Sachin,
yes.
Sachin, one just very basic question. I know the idea about node. what it is, and then we distribute the system, and then through node we manage the thing. But still technically अगर layman पे मैं पूछूं कि भाई what is node, so can I say it's virtually or physical another device which has the processor and everything, memory and everything, cloud
Actually,
based.
it's a cloud-based cluster.
Cluster is a set of group of
Yes, and
um,
compute
things.
instances.
हम्म, जहाँ पे हम मेमोरी प्रोसेस कुछ हिस्सा अलोकेट कर देते उस सेक्शन को.
And one more thing, like we had Siva in this session, and he is very like non-familiar with the Hindi language, so we will try to avoid Hindi.
Okay, fine, fine.
Okay, so I'm going to show the Spark SQL. This is the Apache Spark, and if we focus on the large analytics, so it's a single node and cluster. Can you see? It's going to run on single node and cluster. So what is the cluster here? So 80% is Spark ecosystem machine. So when we have a Spark, it's a kind of node we are going to discuss. Like it's kind of this one compute instances,
Hmm.
different computed instances. So these different computed instances are processing independently. They do not have dependency on each other.
Yes, yes. So earlier days when there were no cloud, so grouping the 10 different devices of different capacity, if we network it together, we could have said that okay, now node of 10 nodes, we prepare a one cluster as a group of devices, and then there we are distributing the activities. So that way, I'm just trying to understand things. Compute instance means there again we assign the resources, correct? So
Yes,
since we are now on the cloud system now, so no physical device is required, but then we create the instances, we assign the resources, and depending on the requirement we can increase horizontally, vertically or anything, and then it become the cluster of 10, 20, 30. Is that basic understanding the correct?
yes. And also it's going to provide automatic scalability. So what is the scalability? For example, I need 12 operations here, and currently I have three processors. So using three processors, this can be done in 4 seconds. This work can be done in 4 seconds only. Earlier it was 12-second process. Now using three processors, I can perform this 4 seconds. But now I need only 1 second input and output timing. So inbound and outbound time only 1 second. So it will assign automatically 12 processor for the same. This process is called scalability. For example, we had earlier three processors, and if you have enabled that part scalability, then it will enable all other 12 processors to perform the same task, because I need quick response. I need means time, a very short time to perform this task, because this is the real time streaming. You can see this is the real time streaming, and inside the real time streaming we need fast processing. But for single second or for few seconds, it will provide more 12 processors, and it will really, once this work is done, automatically it will release this process once this real streaming is done.
Yeah. So how much processor or how many nodes, might be node could be a different configuration, and then that specification plus how many processors, sorry, node to be provided, that also should be mentioned in the configuration somewhere for particular activity, is
Yes,
it?
yes. Sometimes provided, but sometimes you can make it scalability also. Like for example, I'm going to create this cluster uh, manually. So here we had this runtime option and we had so many options here. But by choosing the create compute, if I can see, this is assigning 2 cores. But sometimes I need to add more cores in order to run my operating system. So it will create more 10 cores also.
What is this course?
Cores is actually processors, these nodes.
Okay.
So these
So
nodes are sometimes called workers. Sometimes if I say, for example, I'm having one laptop, but this core is actually 2 laptops. Literally means in a layman language. But in order to, for example, I need more multiple tasks. I need to perform image processing and I have 10,000 images to perform. Or my website is very heavy to perform this task. So what I do, so I'll have to take more processor. Okay, I'm just showing one PPT here.
So Sachin, this course, nodes, worker, virtual machine, these are all same, right? Um,
Yes, sometimes they are called cores, sometimes they are called workers.
and virtual machine also we call, right? Or
Yes, virtual machines actually concept of this one, cloud computing.
Mhm.
This is the cloud. So before cloud, we had this clumsy operations everywhere. In each IT company, this was very familiar option. And after this cloud, we had to manage networking, database, user management, operation, and everything here. So, for example, you have an electronic website. So, using this electronic website, we will have to deal with this 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 sale. For example, Diwali sale is there, or Navdurga sale is there, or New Year sale is there. So can you see in November we have Black Friday. So what is Black Friday here? Well, Black Friday is kind of big sale. So bumper sale is there. So at this sale, our processor is using 120% utilization of CPU is there. So my website, this is my website load. So from January to October, I do not have load on my website. But suddenly I just initiated that sale, uh, 60% sale or 80% sale. Then my website having 120% of CPU utilization. So then I conducted a meeting. In that meeting, my employee suggested previously we had 2 servers. Now, in order to deal this sale or this November month, we can have 4 servers. All right. So this is actually nothing but cores. So now I'm just buying 2 cores more. So now I'm having 4 cores. Why 4 cores? In order to deal this sale operation November. So what about this January to October? So they are not occupied in this area. So in November, I had 90% CPU, but in rest of the time, I do not I'm not using this processors. So this is what? This is January to October. This is what? November only. And this is what? December. So am I using CPU utilization in a perfect way?
No.
No. So this is wastage of time. So previously we had wastage of resources as well before cloud. This was the scenario before cloud, because we are buying for whole year. We are buying resource for whole year. So we are buying it, installing, maintaining for entire year. Whether we are using it only in November month, replacing it, have an IT team, salary, maintenance, everything. So we just bought these resources. So in order to compute, storage, everything, we do not have to manage when cloud came into picture. So this is the cloud data center, and inside this cloud data center, they are providing virtual machine. So that's respective to the virtual machine itself. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Sachin.
Now we are provisioning. So what is provisioning? Provisioning means we are just renting out rent.
The cloud.
We are taking rent only for processor for November month only. So we are provisioning these two processors or these two cores for November month only. Then we will release after the November month, because our sale is not bumping in other months. Is it clear?
Yes.
So if we require more memory, so you can see it's just created. Now I'm going to create this notebook here. So using the notebook. So this is actually Spark, which was working independently. Apache Spark is entirely independent body to handle large scale data analytics. So by seeing the popularity of this Apache Spark, all the this one cloud platform accepted or adopted this technology. Anyone? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to create this book. This is day 2, PySpark. Then first and foremost, I have to put Databricks source. So from this, I have commented. From this, I'm going to port basic library. PySpark port Spark configuration for my connectivity. Then I'm going to put Spark text for my connection. So it's automatically connect to cores, because this task is not very much heavy. So these two processors are bit sufficient for me.
But Sachin, in real time, do we need to really require to import this thing,
Yes,
like in the project,
in
or
these this line.
yeah?
Yes, of course.
Mhm. Okay.
So otherwise, rest of the codes will not work here.
Okay.
Uh, Sachin, might be this importing the libraries, partial libraries, everything is required for sure. But then, like other frameworks or other coding style, we used to have different classes, child classes, and everything, inheritance and everything. So I'm not sure if that same concept applies here, and then we can reuse existing code or parameterization and anything or overriding things. Is that applicable here?
With respect to what? With respect to
Coding. If let's say we are doing coding here,
Mhm.
okay, and then we will definitely have some code which is regularly frequently used by different component and everything. So
Okay.
what we do usually, we do have that reusable files, maybe as a
Ah,
parent
yes.
somewhere and the
Yes.
interface or maybe something, and then we extend that part, we reuse, modify, override and everything. So that time, those parent will be there which will have this import sections everything, and my child will have the limited part or maybe override things,
Hmm.
and whatever is required that only will get. So
Yes.
I'm trying to do the comparison. Do we have that kind of framework for file structure or maybe the
No,
functions or something?
generally we have only 3 to 4 lines here before importing the text file, because whatever text files we are importing here using this table, we will have to change the address. So we cannot change different address inside the parent file. So till this the parent address or this file address, we will have only 3 or 4 lines, not more than 3 or 4 lines. So it's advisable that do write these 3 lines inside the child file only.
So
Or sometimes we connect these
Mhm.
files with another files as well. For example, day one file may connect with the day two file,
Hmm, hmm,
or day two file will connect with we can continue with day three and day four as well.
hmm. Yes, क्योंकि I believe there will be some activities or the queries required more frequently, commonly, and those should be there as a by default. And anyone wants, since it's validated, tested, and result oriented or efficient, someone should use that one only, and then do the modification as a child. So that way, I'm just thinking might be this is completely irrelevant concept with here, but then just thinking of that way as well.
Hmm.
So that's not the case here actually.
No,
100. Okay.
no. We had very few lines inside the Python. Python is very concise.
Mhm.
Sometimes this Spark configuration, you will have to go for the official website. What is the Spark configuration? And this will have very big definition itself. For
Mhm.
example, Spark context. So it's again abstract for us. What is the Spark context here?
Mhm.
And that mapping part is also abstract for us, how it's assigning memory, how it's using cores, how it's using workers, how it's assigning the load to the different cores. That's also abstract for us.
Mhm.
Python is not transparent in that way,
Okay.
because sometimes if you have very long tasks, very high definition, for example NLP based or Twitter based or Facebook text processing, or computer vision, which is opening your webcam, or if we have 10,000 images or live streaming of video, then it's automatically increasing number of cores and assigning tasks to each course concurrently. So that's again hidden for us. It's not coming in front of us.
Okay. Okay.
So now I'm going to find this Spark context. Inside this Spark context, if this file is already there, I'm going to get this file. If it is not there, I'm going to create that file. This is the definition of get or create. I'm going to pass this configuration to my configuration, which I assign to, to the top. This configuration set app, this is the Manish name app. I can give name any app name. Using this app, I just established dialog with the Spark context, which is get or create. I'm going to create RDD. So this RDD will be RDD. Oh, this RDD will be SC. So what is the SC here? This is the Spark context, and this is the text file which we will be uploading here inside the table mode. So I'm going to open this table. Oh, so I'm going to upload, which is download sample file. I want to open this file. Let's see whether it's having.
So Sachin, since this is the text file, that's why we have used RDD. Otherwise, we can use the data set, right? Or data frame we can create.
Yes, yes. Sometimes we had C, we had so many formats. Sometimes we had CSC, comma separated value. Sometimes we had
RK.
Spark also TXT or Spark weight. All right. Or sometimes we had Excel file, XLSX. So for these purpose we had, but we had other forms also. For example, we had data frames. So we will be learning how to create data frame, how to import data frames. Sometimes we had images, set of images. Sometimes we had audio. Sometimes we had NLP based text files. So we will be using other data frame as well.
So if it is a text file, that's why we are using RDD, right? Or
Yes,
CSV also we can use RDD. No.
CSV also we can use in order to perform this structure, because these are all structure data set. I hope we had familiar with the structure and non-structure data set.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly, I have used the CSV file, so that's why I had the question.
So 99% we are using CSV file actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the file address. Allow me to copy this address. Come back to my notebook. I copy it here. Done. Right. Now, if I want to see RDD dot collect, so this is going to display all the content here. If something is unusual in my file, so it won't display that file. You see? So in the previous session, what we had done, we just created RDD equal to RDD. It will create different data frames. So I'm going to create map function. In that function, we had the lamb lambda, then x dot it, and using the space, I'm going to display this part, and then RDD dot collect will be splitting all my frames. Can you see? So this is the method one using the MDDA lambda. I'm going to use this method two using function. So I'm going to create a function, define, this is the define, and I'm going to create any random function here. So which is X, for example. So name any function name here, whether it is foo or something. So I'm going to create any function. Just coming 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. So using this function, I'm going to create a manual task, manual operation. So what is the X? What is the L here? So I'm going to create a L variable which is going to split my entire data set. So I'm going to perform this X over the X. I'm going to split this part, and then L2 it's kind of list which is going to empty here. So I'm going to add all the element here. So using the for S in L, whatever is there inside the L, it will be. So whatever comes, whatever we will pass here inside the X, it will split entire statement. And in all the element of the L, I'm going to perform this for operation. And now L2 dot append, because it will append this part, and I'm going to add this integer S and will add any number. For example, let's 2 here. And then going to return this L2. So what's the meaning of this one? Just running this part, then I'll show what's objective here. RDD3 equals to RDD dot map, then going to map this function foo here, which I define here, and then RDD3 dot collect is there to replace this entire value. Now, can you see previously we had this one. Show the file rdd2 dot collect. Can you see? Originally we had this rdd2. Now I just deploy this function which is adding 2 in each element here. So we are performing 2 operations here. Can you see? This one is just converting to 3. So previously we had 2 which just converting to 4. We had 3 which just converting to count. So we had performing just one, adding 2 in each element. Is it the only operation we are performing here? Anyone? Is it the only operation we are performing here?
No, I guess
No,
we
we
are
are not.
splitting as well.
Splitting. Before this, for example, if I say step 0, before this we are splitting as well. But is it the only 2 operation we are doing here? Is it function doing anything else? If you look at this definition of the function,
It's saying +2. Okay.
plus 2, that's adding 2 here. So this is going to split. If you look at this one, whatever the X is there, X is what? X is the list we just provided here. It just provided X, is just split it into the list element. So it's a 2, it's a 4, it's a 5, and 1 elements are passed here. It just split it into the elements of the list. And this is going to, can you see this integer S?
Hmm.
This step 2 is
Adding to.
also converting string to integer as well. This process is called typecasting. If someone asks in the interview, what is the typecasting? It's the process to convert a string to integer. Why we are doing this typecasting? Anyone?
Because that's a requirement. String can't be handled, so it's required to convert into the required data format.
Okay.
It could be a requirement. It can go depend on requirement.
Without converting this string to integer, we cannot go step number 1.
Yes,
We
addition.
can, yes, addition. This is arithmetic operation. Arithmetic operation can be done only on integer values. But if you look at the elements here, we had all the codes around the integer, which is representing all these stuff is in the format of string here, not in the integer format. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, Sachin.
And it can be vice versa, right? As well, or
Huh?
no? Like integer to character string,
Integer to
string. No,
can you repeat your question? Your voice was lagging.
no. Like we are, converting in a string to integer, right?
Hmm.
So if I wanted to convert integer to string, that is
Yes, that's possible.
that is also typecasting, right?
Yes, that's also for typecasting. For example, if I check this, for example, I have a variable which is having, for example, 3. So if you check the type of this variable, it's a str. But if I have var, var equals to int and then var, now I'm going to check the type of variable. And you see, now it's integer. You want to reverse process. So for example, where 2 is just having 5, if I check this type, where 2, it will give integer. But here only I'm adding one line, which is converting as integer to string. So I'm going to assign this part here. Now furthermore, if I am going to check this one, can you see it's now a string? Did I answer your query?
Yes.
It's also typecasting. Okay. Now I'm having one more thing. I have a file which is consisting how are you. I'm just explaining this Sachin and then Manish and then Deva and I. This is the input file and I need output like 2, 3, 3, 4. In the next line 6, 6 and 4. How to get this output? Anyone, any idea? This is the input and I need this as the output.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to explain this part. Closing it. Close this. So inside this code, need this sample file to make changes. So this is now how you now having Deva, Manish, and then Ilyas, Sachin. I'm going to save this file here. I'm going to close it. Close this file. And now I'm going to upload the same sample file. It's then going to copy this address. but C, right, book, then going to import this. So now I do not require other stuff for importing my Databricks notebooks. I'm just creating our RDD, which is storing sc dot text file inside this text file to pass the address. Now, if I use the RDD dot collect, it will display all these stuff here. Paste it. So this is the string, first string, this is the second string, and this is the third string. I'm going to define a function which is, for example, having quiz. So using the quiz, I'm going to pass this array, and inside this array, I'm going to perform this L, which is going to split my entire string, split using the space, right? Now I'm going to create the another empty list L2, and for this L, I'm going to perform the for loop, and for all the element inside the high, because what is the ingredient of this L? This is how are you, Siva, Manish, Kriya, Sachin. Everything is there inside the L currently, because it's split in everything here. Now performing all the operation over the string, I'm going to append, which is going to add here, and going to check the length of this S. Going to append this part, and finally I'm going to turn L2. All right. So now if I look at the RDD equals to RDD dot map over the quiz method, I can run this file, and then if I want to check this RDD dot collect, showing 234,406,76. Did you find the output? Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, L3 is equal to 20, 30, 45. And I'm going to show L3 dot append and something, for example, 99. I'm going to display L3. This is what we exactly the operation of append here. Can you see individual operation of append?
Mm-hmm.
So this is initially we had 20, 30, 45. I just appended 99 here. So this is the property of list. It just appended at the last.
Correct.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to create an initial L4, which is empty list here. I just define L4 here. Now, if I ask L4 dot append, for example, 11, Control A, Control C. I just just displaying L4 L. Can you see now L4 is having, why two 11s are there? Anyone? Why we are obtaining two
Just
11s?
just passing one parameter, right? Or no?
No.
Append 11.
Now I'm going to run this code initializing L4. Now currently L4 is having nothing. It's an empty
Okay.
list.
Mhm.
I just run this code single time. If you recall, before now it's showing only 111 because
Okay.
previously I run this L4.append two times.
Hmm.
Okay.
This was the reason it's showing this L4. This one 2 times.
Yes. What is this out 25 actually mean? Out, I know, I understand, but 25, what it is?
it's a line number. We are currently how many times you are running this cell. This is the cell code.
Okay.
So
Okay.
right, we had the for the developers we had line number
Okay,
code
line
number.
numbers.
Yes.
So now, okay, so there was 20. After that, 4 line of code we have added, and the output is on the line 25.
Because
Is
I
that?
run this cell 4 times.
Hmm.
If I run this code, now the output will be 11 11, and this cell number is 26. And if I
Okay.
run the same cell 2 times, one more time, this would be 27. Can you
Okay.
see?
Okay. Good.
So I appended 11 3 times. This is the reason it's showing 11 here. I'm
Good.
going to paste it here, and this would be output 28. I'm going to add 55 here. The output would be 11 11 11 and 55.
Yes.
And to by mistake, if I rerun this same code, so it's going to append L4 2 times, which is 55 55 two times here. I'm going, so this is the operation of append here. If I run the append 99, so this is showing 11 11 55 99. For example, I have a string which is consisting Manish, and I'm going to show len of str. What's the output here? Can you see? It's showing 6. And the
Mhm.
output is 31. Line number 431 here. So we had seen two things separately. First one is the append operation. Second one is the len, which is representing length of this string. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
Sachin.
Just focus these two operations. Once we know these two operations, how they are working individually, now you can get familiar with the entire function here. This one. This is simply nothing but step 0. We are splitting. If you focus with L, list L, in step 1, we are initializing an empty string and we are appending everything. And in step 2, I'm going to calculate the ENGTS, length of this string. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, Sachin.
Yes.
So this was the input. Siva, Manish, this one. Okay, one more question here. Why we have this 0 here? So this was the output, na? 40676. So why 7 here? Because Shreyas is having 7 characters. Why we have 0 here in between 4 and 6?
Mm,
Because by mistake we had a space in between this one. Look at the original file. Can you see? In between Siva and Manish, we had extra space here. I have another meeting setting. Yes, Manish. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm dropping off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going
Yeah,
to bind this session.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Siva,
But then,
any doubt till here?
No, Sachin, till now it is good.
Okay. So just because of this extra space, we are obtaining this 0, 0.
but then that is character for separation, na? Separator. So why it
No,
got?
no, that's extra space actually. If you will give, can you see
Yeah,
this?
there is one, two, or three maybe space.
No,
But
no,
then
this
these
is
are
the
the
space. Why
separate.
I gave two spaces here.
Hmm.
So if you are giving two space, then it will be treated as a string, extra string. For example, if I give three spaces here, so in that scenario, it will give one here, not 0.
Okay.
So when we find the string, for example, if I have this str equals to space, one space here, and try to check the len of a string, can you see it's giving one? So, but that's the extra space. By default, it's 0.
Okay. Okay. Good
Okay.
enough.
So tomorrow we will have more question, more interview question based upon this RDD.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bind the session here if you do not have any question.
Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you so much for joining this call. Thank you.